Welcome to the big show.
Here we are.
Here we are. Episode 51.
Over
51.
half a century.
And
we need to hear the lion.
One.
I know. We need to hear that. Tony, you should put in the lion's roar for
right.
all of the Rocky
like MGM,
movies.
Right? Episode 51. We got Mr. Stallone's birthday celebration.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be 77.
Amazing. Just amazing.
77.
I aspire to live that long.
Right? And I mean, gosh. We've heard the stories of all the stuff that he's done and how he started and this and that, but it's such an amazing story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
And the good part about it is that there's new generations learning about him now.
True.
It's like now that he's out there with the Family Stallone show and
right.
The Tulsa King, Expendables is coming out. Creed was just, I know he wasn't in this last one, but he was in the others. Creed is appealing to a little bit younger generation. So they're all like, hey, who's this Stallone guy?
Right.
That we were like, what do you mean, who's the Stallone guy? But,
I've had nieces and nephews come over. I'm like, all right, now look, you're going to come over to the house. We're going to sit down and we're going to watch Rocky. And then every time you come over after that, we're going to continue watching until we get through them all. And they're like, okay. So we saw the first one. They loved it. They're like, Uncle Rick, when are we going to watch Rocky 2? I'm like, get your ass over here and we'll watch it.
Yeah, watch it right now.
Come on over.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned it. I mean, this man created the greatest film saga, most inspirational, motivational character in film history, and a lot of opinions, including my own. And it started there. It started in 1976. And it's crazy. It's crazy. He was 30.
Wow.
30 years old.
That's so young.
So, well, I mean, let's put out when he wrote it and then started making it. He might have been 28, 29.
Sure.
And 76 is when it was released, and he was born 1946, so he was 30.
Do you remember being 30?
I know I had to be 30. I'm already past it, so
I know, right?
I have to think about that, though.
On the other side. But let me ask you this, Tony, and I've said this a couple of times. I've said this more than a couple of times, but I know that we don't know Sly person to person, right? Mm-hmm. But how can you not consider him to be a best friend? I mean, he's with us.
Agreed.
Every day he's with us,
And that's the bizarre part, is that when you have somebody like that in your life that you've watched millions of times in your living room, in your home,
yes,
you've turned his script into a life-altering, lesson. You do feel like you know him. You do feel like you're like when
I know,
and I say whenever I meet him, because I will. I feel like. I don't feel like, oh, Mr. Stallone, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you. I don't feel like it's as formal as it's supposed to be. And it's, I don't know, maybe that's bad, maybe that's good, but you're right, Rick. You're absolutely right. He's been in our homes for so long. And that's what it is. And that, I heard somebody one time talking about the fame quality of TV and film. And I forget who it was, somebody said the reason why the TV people you feel so like close to, like you just said, is because they're in your living room every night, every week, going to a movie is a little different.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. I agree.
He's permanently attached to my body with tattoos. What my basement looks like. It's a shrine. I know
you're making my room look bad. I only have a wall. You have a different background every week. I mean, come on.
But it's more than a hobby to us. To you and I and many other Stalloneites, Rockyites, whatever you want to call it.
Rockheads, Rocky Land. I mean, it's true. It's very true. And you know what it is?
It's a way of life.
I was just about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. When people are into fitness and they go somewhere like a barbecue or whatever, and they say, no, I don't want to eat that, and oh, what are you on a diet? No, this is my way of life. This is how I live. This is how I eat. It is. You're absolutely right. It's a way of life.
Right.
The movie quotes, the scripts, the way just everything about it. I know he's done so much more than Rocky. But let's face facts.
Yeah.
The man is put on the map because of Rocky. We all know the story. We all know the large sums of money that he passed on to make sure he played it, which I couldn't thank him enough for.
Oh, right.
I don't think it would have been the same.
No. We've had that discussion.
Yeah, we did.
It just doesn't it just doesn't sit well. It doesn't feel right. I couldn't, not one other person could have done it. No way.
Agreed.
No way.
Agreed. But he, and he has so many other he has obviously the Rambo franchise, which started with First Blood, and Rambo 2, Rambo 3.
Right.
Rambo, and then Rambo Last Blood, right?
Right. And wasn't there, before First Blood came out, wasn't there I'm going to say 9 other actors who had either auditioned or read for the part and either passed on it?
I don't know how many. I do know that there was a lot, and some of the names were big names, but you just see. The tough part about the First Blood one, it wasn't when Rambo First Blood Part 2 came out. That's when he became the G.I. Joe on steroids. Not that he was on steroids, but I'm saying G.I. Joe musclehead. Right. I'm gonna take out a whole country with my one gun. That's when he became larger than life character, and for Rambo 3 and so forth. But First Blood was a little bit of a different film, more cerebral. Yeah, and the explosions and whatnot were secondary. So when they were looking at Dustin Hoffman and people like that, you sit here and you go, Dustin Hoffman played Rambo? Come on, man.
No.
But when it's more of a scripted story where it's more about him and his PTSD and how he's not being accepted,
right.
It's almost like you could see it. Not that I could see somebody else playing it, but you know what I'm saying about it.
Right. And he went through and he tweaked a little bit because the movie was so dark. The original novel was so dark, and Stallone went through and he tweaked some of the movie to make it a little friendlier, a little kinder to the veterans, and where these other actors may not, obviously didn't bring that idea to the table, where he did. Right. In his brain, he saw it differently. And wow.
Well, also, too, think about it. First Blood came out in 1982. So he had already done Rocky 2, and at the same time, Rocky 3, because 1982 is when Rocky 3 came out. Right. So he has already been writing and directing, so he's got a lot more to bring to the table than he did. Not that he had nothing to bring to the table for Rocky, but he was inexperienced with Rocky.
And I remember him saying that at times when he was filming Rocky 3 and Rambo 2 or First Blood Part 2, he was at times he was like, he didn't know what set he was on. He was just so busy, so consumed.
Well, so busy, and also to stay in the shape he was eating a can of tuna, an oatmeal cookie, and 34 cups of coffee. That was his daily intake.
I'd be dead.
I don't know how he survived.
I know, right?
But look at him. Look at where he was. He was shredded.
Yeah, 4% body fat. That's not even. Is that even human?
It's exactly. And the crazy part is this is all when he was first starting, and they're still around. Almost 50 years later,
right?
Rocky came out in 1976. In 2026, it'll be 50 years old.
Right.
You show me another person on the planet that has had an impact on millions of people for 50 years. 50 years.
Well, that's a tough
47 years right now as we speak.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That list is extremely short. If there's even a list.
Yeah, that Mount Rushmore is very small.
I mean, because I'm not saying that there's no look at Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars came out in 1977, huge following,
sure,
a dozen movies. It's around 50 years later, and I'm not trying to put it down in any way, but Star Wars doesn't have that life motivation or life altering advice. Not that I know of. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe I just didn't see it. Maybe some other Star Wars heads are seeing what I don't see. But having watched the films, I don't see where it could have guided me through tough times or make me get up off the mat when I didn't want to, like this movie did. And it wasn't even like it was just one film. I think that's why it hangs around so much. One great film, you might not, who knows what it would have done. But to have this string of movies with the character growing older, especially later on with Balboa.
Sure.
And it just, the people like us who have been around since the beginning can really relate to it. We're almost the age of Balboa.
Right.
And it's just amazing what he's done. I will shake his hand one day and just thank him. Thank you just for giving us.
It seems like every Rocky movie always brings something to the table as far as either an inspiration or, like you said, a way of life, a way of looking at things and seeing like, okay, the cup isn't half full. The cup is, or half empty or however you want to, Every one of the Rocky movies brings an inspirational message that tells you, get up, keep going, don't lay down.
Well, not even just that. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the one that everybody expects to motivate you to get up off the mat. That's the one that you would think.
But there's so many life-affirming lessons.
Exactly.
That's the word. The phrase I was looking for. The life-affirming lessons that you can take with you day to day, year to year.
And even just family-wise, those of us that have families and have children, later on, obviously, when in Balboa, Robert being a man of his own now,
right?
How many things did happen in that film where the keep moving forward speech is very popular amongst motivational speeches. Sure. Keep moving forward, get up off the mat. Nobody hits as hard as life. But think about what that did, that father-son talk. It teaches you. I mean, I gave that speech to my daughters numerous times for them. So it's like it teaches you about life, teaches you about family, teaches you about going through the tough times with each other. Adrian's in a coma. Teaches you, when they have no money again and they're down in the dumps. And there's so many things intertwined in there besides just the motivational hitting a heavy bag or bench pressing this. It's so, like you said, it has so much to bring to the table in every aspect of life.
And one of his other speeches in Balboa that I completely love, and it's always like it takes a number 2 or 1B to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward is the well-known speech, but the one in front of the boxing commission, that speech.
I knew you were going to say that.
Haven't you ever done, or you want to finish doing something you want to do, and whose right is it to take away from you? And that hits.
Well, the line that got me in that speech is when he was mad because they said no, and he was like, "How could you ask somebody to pay the freight on something and then tell them they can't do it?" Like, I did what you wanted to do. I went and took the tests. You told me I had to take. I passed them, and now you're telling me no.
Right. Absolutely. That speech there, I mean, that's like with keep moving forward. I mean, let's face it. I just saw something with Stallone the other day where it says, nobody wanted to do Balboa.
No.
And he is so proud of that movie. And you know what? Yeah. Kudos for you, because my God, at our age right now, Balboa just speaks volumes.
Yeah, I saw him speaking about that too, and how proud he was of it, and how it's almost his favorite. He's like, all the Rocky are like my children, and of course Rocky is a huge impact because it, made me. But yeah,
Right.
Balboa was the same way. Nobody wanted to make it. He was too old. Nobody cares about Rocky Balboa anymore. It's just crazy, like you said, how it came full circle.
Yeah. And don't you think if he was to do Rocky 7, or a prequel or whatever it's going to be, people would be flocking.
Well,
I know I would.
Speaking of, remember he put this out on his own social media where he had these pages written down, and I know I did, and I know you probably did. I screenshotted them, and I'm trying to read it, and like, what does this say? What is that? Trying to figure something out of it. I absolutely think between the combination of the character is obviously well received and like we've already said, he's been around 47 years. That doesn't happen by accident.
No,
and
he's so
the younger generation now seeing him, I do think a prequel would do very well. And plus, how much more story can you tell? Think about that. If he started at 16-ish, 17, and brought it up to 29 when Rocky started, that's 13, 14 years.
There's another lifetime in there that could be disclosed.
Oh God! Well, look at so many questions. Why is Paulie so angry, and why is Adrian so shy? Why is Mickey so gruff and hate the world? And there's so much stuff going on that you can have answers for, or see and say, like with Cobra Kai, where you're starting to see Johnny in his personal life, and go, all right, maybe I could see now why he was picking on everybody. He didn't have the greatest of life, and he was angry, and so it made sense. And you actually started liking him. You're like, I would love to see a prequel, and the way they have the CGI of de-aging things now, and obviously they'd have to cast Mickey, but outside of Mickey, everybody else is still here. They're just older. Put them on the computer and de-age them and get going.
That would be so amazing. I would love it. I get chills thinking about it.
I could see it being like you said. I could see it being like a, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 season Netflix series.
Oh,
Well,
let's think about it. So you watched Tulsa King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it not long enough?
No, speaking of, there's something else the man's doing. He's always got something going on. It cracks me up on how much he's got going on, and he's this old, 77 years old. He's not. I remember seeing an interview. He was like, "No, there's no 70. I should be sitting in the backyard with my grandchildren." No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I got to do, what I want to do.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. When Tulsa King ended, I was like, "It's over already."
I know. I love that show. Oh my God, it was so great,
I did too.
And I was like, no, it can't be over now. And then
I agree.
And then you saw the Family Stallone, and
the Family Stallone, which is right over here now. But now I did not see the last two of the Family Stallone. But I'm not. Whenever you talk about somebody that everybody knows you like, they automatically think like, well, of course you're going to like it. I will admit to Sly himself, there's stuff I didn't care for that he's done in his career. And you're not going to like everything everybody does in their career. They're a music artist that I buy their album. I like 3 songs on their album. I like 7 songs on their album. I like the whole album. That family show I just adored. I thought it was so much fun and so real. And of course, having daughters of my own, it hit a certain nerve with me.
Oh yeah. I bet.
It was. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm going to watch the other 2 episodes tonight, I think, so I can wrap that up.
The last one, the trip to Philly, is the season finale.
Yeah, I saw the commercial for it,
and I read that on Instagram. I'm like, what? You're killing me.
So how many episodes are on there? Like 9?
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9. Yeah. Like Tulsa King. I'm like, you guys are absolutely killing me. What the hell am I supposed to watch now?
I know, right?
Back to watching
you could look forward to this, which is coming in November.
I can't wait.
I don't know about you. I'm pretty on top of everything that he does. I know when he has stuff coming out. I know when he has stuff on the back burner. I know when Did you see anything about it before he announced it?
No, I was completely shocked.
I had no idea.
I was so excited.
I had no idea. Oh, I can't wait.
I know.
It was July, August, September, October, November, 4 months.
I think I put on Instagram. I put on there when I saw it. I'm like, oh my God! With all the news, all the Stallone news coming out, it's like Christmas in July.
It was just nonstop. You got the slide thing. I mean, they got the Stallone shop is releasing, more statues and more merchandise. I mean, John Rivley, our good friend John Rivley, he's the one who's making the bodies and the heads for the statues.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It's just amazing what's going on. And he's got so much happening. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Christmas in July.
It is. I want to put this picture up here. This picture here, it was from last year, from his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
It was from when he turned 76. Look at his arm. He's 76 years old. Are you kidding me? Oh, my Lord.
I loved his birthday cake when I think he turned 70. Maybe it was 70 when they did the Italian Stallion and the cartoon boxer. Did you remember seeing that?
No,
one?
I didn't see that one.
No? Oh, no. My God. I'll have to send you a picture. I loved it. It was a great picture. Great. It was just like a cartoon. He was kind of like, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Yeah.
How they have the Irishman?
Yeah, the little leprechaun.
Yeah, he's like this. Well, that's how, but it was a cartoon character of Rocky. Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It was a great picture.
He's a compliment. Oh, and also too, let's not forget. I mean, you got Expendable. I mean, this is the Expendable. He's got Expendables franchise, but Expendable 4's coming out in November also.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that, but I think it's obviously it's going to be his last one.
Yeah, I had heard or read that he's handing that over to Jason Statham. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, as much energy and as much in shape he is in, and his creativity isn't going anywhere. I mean, the man's still 77 years old. To do some of the action films, I'm sure is a little difficult for him, more so now than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
And he's had a multitude of injuries and broken bones.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, too numerous to say your count.
You got the infamous. Yeah, it's crazy. You got the infamous Dolph Lundgren hit when he had to fly a low altitude plane because they thought he got hit by a car. Broke jaws, broke his hands, This is long before CGI, people. This is when.
How about even? I don't know if it's lesser known, but it is known. In First Blood, when he jumps off the cliff into the pine trees.
Yeah,
he actually broke his arm.
Yeah,
and that the noise he made,
Yeah. Well,
there was no acting about that. He broke his arm,
Crazy. Well, I mean, think about it. If you want to make it look as realistic as possible, that's why in the movies he went from throwing punches and just missing, where he started getting, hitting, obviously pulling the punch.
Sure.
But then later on, I think it was around 2 and 3 where he started doing that. The one was very choreographed where they were slipping, missing punches.
Yeah, right.
But he wanted it to be more realistic. I mean, by the time he got to Balboa, Antonio Tarver was belting him around.
Oh yeah. And crazy. I saw a clip where Tarver he kind of backed up on Sly. He's like, "Yo, man, you turning that shit over." He's like, "Don't be doing that." Sly was hitting him back. I'm like, good for you, man.
I'm sure he could take it.
Oh yeah, Tarver down, heavyweight
crazy.
Champ. But how about Cliffhanger? Now Stallone has gone on record as saying he's afraid of heights. And look at the stunts he did in Cliffhanger. Are you freaking kidding me? I don't even want to go on my damn roof.
I'm afraid of heights. okay, well, we want to make a movie that you're on top of this mountain.
Yeah.
And hanging on it by a thread. Oh, okay, cool. Sign me up.
Yeah. Rick, go clean your gutters. No.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm definitely not a fan of them.
No, so I agree. Different. I agree. Well,
I read somewhere there's going to be a cliffhanger too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I read it fairly recently that they were toying around with the idea.
That was a great movie. I'd love to see it.
I liked it. I liked it very much.
Yeah.
I thought John Lithgow did a fantastic job as the villain.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It was a really great movie.
But he's jumping off of cliffs. He's in Victory. When Pele was kicking the soccer ball to him, he snapped his finger when he was trying to stop one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives his all. He gives his all. Does. That's for sure. 100. I mean, that's, people don't win Academy Awards or Golden Globe Awards for not really putting it out there. And this gentleman won the Golden Globe, nominated for Golden Globe for Best Actor for Rocky and Best Supporting Actor for Creed, playing Rocky. And then he was nominated for Academy Award for Rocky in '76 for Best Actor and Supporting Actor in Creed. And 46 years apart.
Crazy.
So the only other person that was closer was Paul Newman, did 27 years apart, playing Fast Eddie in The Hustler and in The Color of Money.
Okay, with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So you must be doing something right. That character just lasts. I mean, think about that. If you make a movie 47 years after the original movie came out, there had to be people saying to themselves, "This isn't going to be. He's not going to be relevant. Nobody cares about Rocky anymore. All these people don't even know who Rocky is.
Right.
Obviously, look how wrong they were.
Well, yeah, and you go and you look at
who Rocky was. That's for sure.
Yeah, you go and you look especially at your Batman and your Supermans. What I would love to get my hands on is those Rocky comic books that are printed overseas. Going into a little bit different direction, but with the say speaking of Batman and Superman in the comic books,
there's a lot of stuff that's printed over there.
Yeah. And the artwork is beautiful.
I've only seen some of the pages like you see online sometimes here. I've never seen a whole book.
Yeah, like Rocky V. I saw a couple of, pictures of the Rocky V comic book. I'm like, oh my God, But again, to speak to your point of being irrelevant, no. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Rocky, those people don't die. They will live in infamy.
It's just like, just look at James Bond. James Bond's been around since the 60s.
Right.
And they just had, a movie 2 years ago, whatever it was, fairly recently. I mean, so you're talking 50 years still, 60 years of James Bond. The same type of thing, no different.
Right.
Why would he still be relevant, that character? What's that?
But many different actors, though.
True.
Yep.
Very true about that. Yeah. I mean, but like you were saying, the character, look at the most recent one, Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a close two right there. Indiana Jones is, Harrison Ford.
Because Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in 79? 80?
I believe, you're probably real close on that.
Right? And now this one just came out, so you're talking, 40-something years still, like you just said.
Right, and Harrison Ford's still doing it.
5 films. He's 80. Yeah. Harrison Ford's 80 years old. So, that's close right there.
That is very crazy. Wow.
Unbelievable.
But
like you said, I mean, it really is. And I'm sure, look, the guy's only human. I'm sure there's got to be a time where, he's like, all right, I get it. But it seems the older he gets, the more he appreciates what Rocky has given back to people.
Sure.
And I remember reading that book. You ever see that book, Sly Moves? It has the workouts in it and whatnot.
Yeah, I got it right over there.
Yeah, I have it as well. And I read the article in there in the first chapter. He was saying on how he was at a Philadelphia Eagles game, and the whole stadium was chanting "Rocky, Rocky," and he said, years ago in the pen, that this was a little before Balboa.
Okay.
So say 2004-ish.
Okay.
And he was saying how years ago he used to, kind of get annoyed by it and kind of be like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he's like, I just come to embrace it. If it's that meaningful to these millions of people, I can't be that disrespectful and not embrace it.
Right. And I think it was I know it was in Balboa, but it might have been in the extras at the end of the movie, after the movie, where they said they were showing deleted scenes and whatnot, where when he went to the market to buy the food, you remember that part?
Yeah.
And people were just clamoring to get near him, and they're all chanting Rocky. They don't know who. It's like, who's Sylvester Stallone? In Philly and in around the world, it's Rocky. Stallone is a secondary character, which is
how funny is that?
It's surreal.
It really is. Like, they were doing it at the Rocky statue when he was there. Like I said, I always saw in the commercial, but they were like, Rocky.
Yeah.
Like,
no one's yelling, Stallone. He's just known. It's crazy.
Sure.
It's crazy. Oh my God. You kind of want, this thought just came to me, but on his, stone at the end, will it be in parentheses Rocky? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it should.
I can't. If he gets a headstone, I can't see how he wouldn't put it on there. His name up there, and underneath it, like you say, parentheses, Rocky Balboa.
It's got to.
I don't know if he would take it that serious or not. I don't know.
Oh, but you know what? Something that is that pivotal, and something that has just encompassed the world. How could you not? I mean, to me, if that was to me and it was on my headstone, it was like, Rick, and I was known as Rocky or whatever. You're damn right.
Yeah.
I want the Italian Stallion logo on my headstone. That Batman logo.
I mean, think about it, like what you just said. The guy has 17 million or 16.5 million followers on Instagram. All right, 77-year-old guy making movies has that. Rewind, say 20 years or so, to find me an actor that is 70s. And if there was social media then, you really think 16 million people would be? I mean, I just don't see it happening. It's amazing on how many people out there all over the world, not just Philly, not just the Northeast, all over the world.
Yep.
This man, like I said, it's a very, very short list.
And you've said this before. He is the only actor or one of the only actors who has had a number one film in how many decades?
Last 6 decades.
The last 6. What an accomplishment.
It started with Rocky in 76, and then if you do them all, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020s. And the 2020s one was the Shark, where he played the King Shark.
Okay.
Suicide. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the number one movie for the 2020s.
Okay.
But yeah, number one film every decade for 60 years.
Jeez.
I thought it was a big deal when Burt Reynolds was the number one box office star for 3 years in a row.
Yeah. I know, right?
60 years.
Yeah. I thought it was a big deal when he was with Lonnie Anderson.
It's right? But it's just crazy. 60 years, like you said, he's been making films and making relevant films. Okay?
Right.
Bring up Mr. Burt Reynolds, who I adore. Let's talk about his last few years of film. All right. He died. I think he was 82 or something along those lines. For about 10 years or so right there, he only made one film. 70 to 80s, he only made one film. And then if you go back from the 50s.
But didn't he?
Memorable by any means.
Well, he did.
And like I said, I'm not too too proud to say like they were not worthy of Burt Reynolds because I didn't think they were. But what are you going to do?
He did do a movie with Sly though.
There you are.
Okay.
Did you go away, or was it me?
Yeah, we had a little
we
time
very
warp
badly
there.
ping ponged. We're back.
Yeah, we kind of went into a time warp.
Sorry, guys. I know it's about to rain here. That's probably why.
Yeah, and it's been bad weather here. But real quickly, Stallone did a movie with Burt Reynolds. Speed, was it called? Driven. Thank you. Which was a very good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And what we were going with it was that you look at the films that say Sly has done in the last 20 years, and you look at the last 20 years of Burt Reynolds films.
I think you got maybe a storm coming in, or I have a storm coming in.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We're probably going to have to wrap this up. I apologize for the unprofessionalism of the buffering zone, but we will have to wrap it up before it gets worse. So, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll just throw this up here. Let's see. There you go. I know that some people call me Stallion. I am not worthy of the name. Happy birthday, Mr. Sylvester Stallone. Many, many more. 77 years, and I hope to see many more birthdays for you because I know you got a lot more stuff in the basement to show us. And I thank you for everything. I hope you're watching. Hopefully.
I know, right?
You want to say anything, Rick, before we head out?
Real quickly. As I've said before, I do consider you to be one of my best friends. I carry you with me everywhere I go. You're always with me. Most every day, I'm always thinking, what would Rocky do? In a surreal Earth or Earth 2 or whatever you want to call it. It's just, it's not a bad way to live your life. It's not
at all. Not at all.
And all I can say is thank you for creating this character.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being around for so long. And we look forward, all of us Rockheads, the whole Rockhead Nation, we look forward to everything you bring to us. I know we didn't talk about it, but I'm going to mention it. The Samaritan, loved it.
Yeah.
Please keep just bridging, and expanding and doing things, because everything you bring to us, I just can't get enough, and I know most people can't either.
No, and
we love you.
Everybody feels the exact same way.
We love you, and happy birthday. Happy 77th birthday.
Yeah. And listen, I'm only 4 hours away. I'll bring you over some cake. We'll sit out on the back patio.
You got it.
So I'm going to go over there and say hi to him one day. He's probably going to call security on me. But anyway, let's get out of here before the storm comes.
Yes.
I appreciate everybody watching. Rick, as always, my pleasure, brother. And
Absolutely.
We will see everybody next week.
Happy birthday, Sly.
Happy birthday, Sly. Enjoy it, my friend.
You got it.